It really is a great plant, and we've got, like I said, a lot of different varieties, a lot of different colors. These will come in shades of reds and blues and purples, and of course the bright greens. So it gives you just a lot of flexibility in order to play with this in your habitats. Hi, I'm Kim from the Tye-Dyed Iguana plant team, and today we're going to be talking about one of our really neat and unique succulents. It's called an Echeveria. I'll show you one of them, and one of the neat things about them is they come in a bunch of different species because they can be crinkly or they can be almost tree-like. Sometimes they just lay out a little bit flatter and get a texture on them that almost looks like it's powder covered. So you can use these in a variety of different ways, but it is a succulent. So let's back up a minute, and as with most succulents, probably all succulents, when we talk about watering, drought tolerant. We're not going to water these probably in the summertime every 10 days, maybe every 2 weeks. Wintertime, you're going to back off on that even a little bit more. You might not water it for every 2 or 3 weeks. And you can tell, you can put your finger in the soil, or if you just gently start to pull up on the plant in the pot, the bottom of it needs to be thoroughly dried out. And then when you're ready to water, go ahead and thoroughly water it real well, and then you can back off and just let it be for the next period of time. It just likes to be not wet, no wet feet. Also along that line, we talk with a lot of our plants about the importance of humidity. Not the case when we talk about the Echeveria. Don't mist it, don't worry about a humidifier. And another thing, when you're watering, just be careful. And as you're watering, just water down into the soil. You don't want to get any water on the leaves for a couple reasons. Number one, it happens to hang on the leaves. These are not water repellent. It'll sit there on the leaves, and that's not good for it. And secondly, it's just going to perhaps add to some of the rot that you might see on the plants. So water the soil. It can also be butt chugged. Sometimes we'll put those in a little saucer, put water in there and let the water come up through the bottom, but you're just not going to want to get any kind of water on the leaves. If you do get them on the leaves, just give them a little touch and off they will come. From a soil perspective, again, if you really like to play in the dirt and make your own, you can start with a really good organic soil, and then you can add perlite, sometimes a little bit of sand. It needs to be really well drained, nothing that holds on to water. And what we always recommend is that unless you just really want to play in the dirt, you just go ahead and use the soil and the cactus mix that we have here. All of this is taken care of for you, and it's just not something you're going to have to worry about. This is really some great stuff. From a light perspective, this can really stand, we normally talk about indirect light. These Echeveria can stand that really bright light, the direct light. I'm going to modify that a little bit by saying direct morning light, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours as we get into the summertime of direct sunlight is really good. Once we get into the afternoon though, we just don't want to have that really harsh light on it. It'll do well in the shade as well. So it's a little bit versatile when it comes to light, but bright direct light early in the morning will work for it well. We talked about the humidity. Don't want to mess with the humidity. Temperatures really needs to be in the 60 to 80 degrees, sometimes a little warmer than that, but it could do okay a little bit lower than 60. We don't want to get it into the 40s at all, so if you have a cold snap and you happen to have these outside, you need to go ahead and bring them inside. It's just not going to be really good for those. Another interesting thing about the Echeveria, and this is what some folks do with cactus, is they look at building a cactus garden. And I'm going to talk about 2 things at once here. If you're building a cactus garden, you can start with a nice big clay terracotta pot, and I would suggest one that's just a little bit deeper. And I say terracotta clay because this will also help you keep your watering well disciplined. A terracotta pot or a clay pot has a tendency to absorb any extra moisture that's out there. So you can take these succulents and the Echeveria and other succulents and just really build yourself a great looking succulent garden. And if you're going to do that, this is really a good size. This is about a 12-inch dish that you're going to work with. As big as you want to go, that is not a problem at all. When we talk about the size of the Echeveria, they have a tendency to get, depending upon the species, a little bit taller, probably 3 inches or so tall, but they'll get wide. They can really be a very wide, broad plant, sometimes as big as a dinner plate. And While this is not a dinner plate, this gives you an idea. This is 8 inches across. This is how wide they can get. So as you're planting them, whether you're going to put them in a habitat or if you're going to just use them for your own purposes as a house plant, just recognize that an Echeveria has a tendency to get nice and broad. Propagating, as they get broad, you'll be able to see those little pups, those offsets come in there, and you can just reach in and gently separate the pups and go ahead and put them in some of your cactus and succulent soil. Every once in a while, here we go, and this one has died, but when a leaf drops off, if it's a nice healthy leaf, you can just take that leaf and also put it in some of your succulent soil. And that's another way to go ahead and do your propagation. It really is a great plant, and we've got, like I said, a lot of different varieties, a lot of different colors. These will come in shades of reds and blues and purples, and of course the bright greens. So it gives you just a lot of flexibility in order to play with this in your habitats. It's just a great plant, and it is our plant of the week this week at Tye-Dyed Iguana, Echeveria.